Is
Okay. So I'm recording. We're on 7. Should healing
should
be
healing be repeated? Okay.
repeated? Manual for teachers.
Oh, it's the manual for teachers.
Well, just for the recording, to
For
have.
the
Yeah.
audience,
If anyone,
Yep.
if anybody sees it,
for
like,
the non-existing audience.
Okay. Should healing be repeated? This question really answers itself. Healing cannot be repeated. If the patient is healed, what remains to heal him from? And if the healing is certain, as we have already said it is, what is there to repeat? For a teacher of God to remain concerned about the results of healing is to limit the healing. It is now the teacher of God himself whose mind needs to be healed, and it is this he must facilitate. He is now the patient, and he must so regard himself. He has made a mistake and must be willing to change his mind about it. He lacked the trust that makes for giving truly, and so he has not received the benefit of his gift. Whenever a teacher of God has tried to be a channel for healing, he has succeeded. Should he be tempted to doubt this, he should not repeat his previous effort. That was already maximal, because the Holy Spirit so accepted it and so used it. Now the teacher of God with only one course to follow, he must use his reason to tell himself that he has given the problem to one who cannot fail, and must recognize that his own uncertainty is not love but fear, and therefore hate. His position has thus become untenable, for he is offering hate to one to whom he offered love. This is impossible. Having offered love, only love can be received. It is in this that the teacher of God must trust. This is what is really meant by the statement that the one responsibility of the miracle worker is to accept the atonement for himself. The teacher of God is a miracle worker because he gives the gifts he has received, and he must first accept them. He need do no more, nor is there more that he could do. By accepting healing, he can give it. If he doubts this, let him remember who gave the gift and who received it. Thus is his doubt corrected. He thought the gift of God could be withdrawn. That was a mistake, but hardly one to stay with. And so the teacher of God can only recognize it for what it is and let it be corrected for him. One of the most difficult temptations to recognize is that to doubt a healing because of the appearance of continuing symptoms is a mistake in the form of lack of trust. As such, it is an attack. Usually it seems to be just the opposite. It does appear unreasonable at first to be told that continued concern is attack. It has all the appearances of love. Yet love without trust is impossible, and doubt and trust cannot coexist, and hate must be the opposite of love, regardless of the form it takes. Doubt not the gift, and it is impossible to doubt its result. This is the certainty that gives God's teachers the power to be miracle workers, for they have put their trust in him. The real basis for doubt about the outcome of any problem that has been given to God's teachers for resolution is always self-doubt. And that necessarily implies that trust has been placed in an illusory self, for only such a self can be doubted. This illusion can take many forms. Perhaps there is a fear of weakness and vulnerability. Perhaps there's a fear of failure and shame associated with a sense of inadequacy. Perhaps there's a guilty embarrassment stemming from false humility. The form of the mistake is not important. What is important is only the recognition of a mistake as a mistake. A mistake is always some form of concern with the self to the exclusion of the patient. It is a failure to recognize him as part of the self, and thus represents a confusion in identity. Conflict about what you are has entered your mind, and you have become deceived about yourself. And you are deceived about yourself because you have denied the source of your creation. If you are offering only healing, you cannot doubt. If you really want the problem solved, you cannot doubt. If you are certain about what the problem is, you cannot doubt. Doubt is the result of conflicting wishes. Be sure of what you want, and doubt becomes impossible.
I think I understand.
Are you doubting?
No. It's the healing of the mind. The thing is that because the language, it's dualistic. It feels like at some point like they're talking about healing of the body, but it's not of the body. It's always a healing of the mind. And once you have the experience, then there's no doubt. Es como que, ¿cómo lo explico? Like if you have doubt, you need healing. Once you have healing, you have no doubt.
Exactly.
So then you don't have to
Anything.
I'm not healing anybody separate. I'm healing.
Yourself.
And I'm not even doing the healing.
No.
I'm just allowing the healing to happen, right? And then once I allow the healing to happen in me, it has to happen everywhere. That's at least how I'm understanding it. At the beginning, it's like I don't know what this the hell is they're saying here, but I was like making sure that I followed along, because this for me there's always been slight confusion with this part of the manual of the healing. So at the beginning, before you connected, I was like, oh, we're gonna do this part. Should healing be repeated? And I read the first ones and I was like, I don't know what this is about, Adriana. I need help. But I think I get it. I mean, I was talking and she was like, yes. She's like for me, it's like when I'm talking, I see her going like this. I'm like, I'm going through, I'm okay. I'm doing it good. I'm doing it. All right. I feel like I'm on a bicycle on training wheels. And she's like, come on, you're getting it, come on.
Yeah.
See. Well, my sense is that which really needs to get it doesn't really need to get it. It already knows. So all we're left with is doubt from that which can only doubt, and that which doesn't really make any difference, whether it doubts or doesn't doubt. So you can be free not to doubt and know that you already got it.
That's it. Beautiful. Lovely.
I sense this is the trap for me sometimes with the course, is that I have this sense that if I can't regurgitate lessons or concepts, that I don't understand it, and it's just not true.
Sí.
Everybody has it.
So there isn't really a need for studying. There's just really an opportunity for being.
Exactly. I mean, the aid is there. If you need it, you use it.
See?
But it's like everything. Anything can show you what you are if you want to see.
Yeah.
That's the only requirement, that your little self be removed from the equation. And sometimes we need some guidance for that. Sometimes it just happens, but we don't know how it happens. So then we need to practice, like David was saying yesterday. Now what it's left is practicing. And knowing that in every second you're practicing the whole dynamic of the whole time and space. So it really doesn't matter the actual details of the practicing. It's just a being. And the safety. That for me this section brings us to a perfect certainty. Such a perfect certainty that you don't have to even think. And you can be happy doing that. And that's where you want to be with everything.
Yeah.
And that's the mastery. Being there with everything, no matter where you are. That's the way of bringing everything that is seemingly different to a point of union within yourself. And that's the way that you change your thinking from separation to oneness in a minute. No, not even a minute, in an instant. And all that comes with that oneness, which is, so it's not only a concept, it's an experience of healing that doesn't require anything physical to change at all. And that's great. That's really so resting, so quiet and so beautiful that you can be blessing everything without even opening your mouth. I think that's very powerful and very lovely, and it's like a beautiful, este, like a taste of what we are. That it's so beautiful, so all encompassing, and so powerful that it doesn't have to show itself. It's just so certain and so powerful that error cannot touch it.
Error.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's lovely. So, David, kick in.
What would you like to know?
Nothing.
So on this one for me today, I realize I need to go through that a couple more times. It seems on the surface, I'm not overly confused. I just can't repeat it back. But I think, Adriana, it's like you're saying there, I think, tell me if I'm wrong here, it has something to do, it's just our mindset with whatever appearance is before us. We just offer the healing by seeing the other as that perfect thing. That's really, I think that's the only thing that we do here. And in recognizing that, even if I am uncertain with that, I have the Holy Spirit's certainty that that will go through, my own uncertainty can be released. And it's all going on in our mind. Just that's the only thing that's happening, despite any appearance that comes back to us. So that's really just the miracle. That's where it stops for us. That's where the freedom is. I don't know what else to say. I think there might be a little more in there, but
No, nothing else.
Yeah.
Or it's good. Yeah, it's just a removal. It's like you're removing yourself from the situation, and then everything else is just perfect.
right. Yeah. The amazing thing I keep getting is how, as I keep going through this, things seem to be getting simpler and simpler and simpler.
Of course,
It seems like the course is complex, but really it isn't, right? It really gets easier. So
it's a masterpiece because it takes you from the complexity to the simplicity without
right.
you even knowing it.
Yeah.
And all
Yeah.
of a sudden you say, bam, it hits you. Okay, wow. And you know, it was done through you, not by you. And then you get the humbleness to be thankful. And then you start to extend that to everything because you're so sure of what has been given you that you're completely open to extend it to everybody, and you don't have to do anything in form. So that's kind of like magnificent for me
Sí.
because
It
it's
really
such
is.
a, then you know, to sabe the different way, the ego way, and just a quiet way, or just being.
Right.
Yeah, and then you see the power behind the true power.
Once we start seeing that too, that we're seeing the result of this type of thinking. So it just starts reinforcing and our confidence goes up and we're really seeing the effects of that. So
Exactly
it's
that.
teaching by the comparisons. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why the section says if you are worried about a situation in which you offer healing but you don't see the healing, then you are the one that needs to be
That needs
healed.
it. Yeah.
Because you have to be confident that the power that is within you, which is in everybody, it's strong enough to receive that offer of union without having to be demonstrated in the
Yeah.
outside world, because
Right.
ultimately the outside world doesn't do anything.
No.
So then you get what the course says is like direct communication, and that direct communication is so loving, so appealing, so beautiful, and so attracting to you that you start spending more time with that communication, knowing that that communication will heal everything that you see. Maybe you need words, maybe you have to do like a little, tú sabes, whatever, but that's not of your concern anymore because you're just resting in the certainty of the Holy Spirit, like you said, and you know, we know at this level that we're just talking about words, but what we are talking about is an experience that cannot be explained.
Feels good. I know
Yeah,
that.
it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Love.
Nicely put, Adrian. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day.
Thank you. Enjoy your day too.
Will do.
Bye.